please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and what brings you here today.
Sure. My name is Shayna Akonki Marie. I came all the way here from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I am a writer, poet, community organizer, and probably too many other things. And I came here to support Young Lions Roar. The incredible Mr. Obbs invited me down, and we just had an awesome workshop, getting some young people to learn about their stories, their truth, and their power, and just kind of uncovering the universe that lives within them all. So,
Okay, tell us about your journey with poetry.
Wow, what a ride. So much to say, yet so little space between these pages that couldn't possibly contain the pain that lives within this ink pen. As I etch these words, democracy burns around me. And while our country is engulfed by greed, I never dreamed that I would live to become history. We put distance between our past and our present as if it's irrelevant. We bury the evidence like bodies in unmarked graves, then build houses on hallowed lands. I've always kind of been a writer. So when I was younger, I was always writing short stories and diary entries and disses about my parents and my siblings. And I didn't really start discovering the power of poetry until I was a little bit older. So I started experimenting with poetry probably more in high school. It wasn't until I was about 22 that I shared my first poem out loud for a crowd. And I am not going to disclose my age, but I now get the privilege to actually travel and teach and help young people understand the power of their voices and just learning different things. It's just been a constant growth, constant journey. If I could go back and tell my 14-year-old self that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, they would just be like, what the heck are you talking about? So I really love that about writing, about spoken word, about poetry, is you don't have to be an expert. You don't need to necessarily have a degree. You don't have to be the best writer, best performer, whatever in the room. Like, you just have to know yourself and be willing to say the hard things out loud, right? So yeah, that's kind of my philosophy, is just having hard conversations and just really getting vulnerable and getting into the raw truth of human existence. And I love empowering people from any age, from 5th grade all the way on up to 90. Everybody has something to say. So I got connected because I was a feature at the Mic Check Poetry Festival in Iowa City this last year. And so Mr. Obbs and I actually featured together. So that's where we met, and we just clicked. I remember the first phone conversation that we had, where we actually kind of got to know each other a little bit, and just the parallels in just our passions and stories, and thinking about, my hometown, Grand Rapids. There's a lot of injustice. There's a lot of obvious and not so obvious racism and barriers. And you can literally drive, a mile east and see the beautiful big houses and the well-funded schools, and then go a mile south from there and you're gonna see the effects of redlining. And so we both have a big passion for history and film and all these other things that to me are just different little versions of poetry. So yeah, when he told me about the work that he was doing, working with young people, and asked me if I'd be interested, I didn't even hesitate. I'm just just give me the date, No, I think it's important to empower the youth through poetry writing, art, expression, because more and more we're living in a world that is just becoming less tangible, if that makes sense. A lot of people are experiencing lives on a screen. A lot of our young people spent years taking online classes with virtual teachers and online assignments, right? And so I think the art of just writing, of expressing, of creating something, it just brings the chaos of the mind and the past traumas and all of that into a tangible moment and something that can then live forever. I think our young people need to be heard. They don't always have a lot of support and resources and encouragement. I mean, even thinking about social media and all the bullying and all of the pressures that they're facing to be this person of who they're supposed to be or what's cool, what's trendy. And when they learn about themselves and how to channel their power and their stories, they can start to detach from some of like the superficial parts of life, and having that healthy outlet for emotions, I mean, it's transformative, right? I mean, a lot of us, even adults, get so consumed in our emotions and we react out of emotion. If everybody had a creative outlet, I genuinely think the world would be much more peaceful. I thought it was awesome. It was really fun. I kind of believe that, I'm not a real teacher. I don't have a certification or anything like that. I just have a lot of experience and I know how to relate to people. And I think one of my favorite things about working with young people is getting a chance to also learn, like to be a student and a teacher in the same space, right? And so it was just really cool to see them just like open up to me, even though they have no idea who I am. So obviously, Aubrey has cultivated this environment, this sense of trust and vulnerability with them. And so, yeah, I would just say, like, shout out to Young Lions Roar and just to the YWCA for being an awesome space. Hopefully I get to come back. We'll see.